Hey, what's up, folks? We're going to do a little pre-league launch video where we're just going to, hey, Katie, we're just going to kind of go through a couple good to know websites, um, do a brief over on one of my strategies that I use to make currency go league launch, and a few other little fun little tidbits. So you're watching Chico Swavey here with a pre-Path of Exile launch video. Hope you enjoy the stream. If you're a new follower, I appreciate the follow. If you're just joining us for the first time this time, make sure you go ahead, if you're enjoying yourself, smash that follow, like, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And let's get right into it. So, here we are, Scourge League, less than 5 hours ago till launch. Interested to see and hear what some of you all are going to be playing. I'm going to be playing a Pathfinder Poison Concoction build for my league start. Now, my later video coming up for the launch is going to be a little dry at first because I got to get my guilds tabs set up. But once we get through that, we'll be launching into leveling and going through the story and trying to make ourselves some maps. So just prepare yourself for that. The next video here coming up at 12:30, 1 o'clock, will be a little dry at first, but if you hold tight, we'll get into the actual leveling. If you're interested in joining my Path of Exile guild, you can always message me on one of the social media apps, links found in Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, um, Facebook. I have links to all those avenues there, and you can message me, and I can see about getting you added into our Path of Exile guild. We have a pretty large sized guild. We're around 200 folks in there, and we've made room for some new joins this league. So we got room for adding new folks come league launch. So now I want to go over first a couple of really good shortcuts for some informational things to kind of set you off to thrive going through the Path of Exile League. And the first one I want to mention, now if you're of avid and returning pro player, you're probably going to know all these, but I'm just wanting to cover it for anyone who might be new to the league or new to Path of Exile in general. So our first, yeah, that's right, Rod. That's a good point. Thanks for that. So the first link I want to share is Filter Blade. And what that is the filter link for all the filters you can set up, customized filters in Path of Exile. And I'll show you in the game where those will be applied to. We're going to have another video later on where I'm going to go into an in-depth making your own filter. So keep an eye out for that. But for right now, I'm going to show you under the options here, under UI, down at the bottom here, or towards the bottom. They moved it since the last I played. So look at me looking like a fool, not knowing where it is. So there's our chat. There's our cursor gameplay. Yeah, I took 2 leagues off because I was starting on a new job, so I apologize. I'm a little behind on where everything's at. I should have looked it up beforehand. But hey, what are you going to do? I'm only human. There we go. It's under game now. So here we have the list of the item filters, and you'll see there are different filters that I have already loaded from past leagues. You can pull up the folder where your filters are located at by clicking there, and it'll go into the folder, which is your documents, my games, Path of Exile, and then select the new loop filter you'll create or download from Filter Blade, because you can get the basics one and select on there. And again, like I said, I'm going to have an in-depth how to create your own filter with sounds and everything else later on. But so that's covering the filter. The next one I want to go over today is something that are overlays for the game, and they can help you with trading and making currency. And two that I like to use are called PoE Lurker and Awakened PoE Trade. So I'll link those real quick here. So there's a Lurker. And then for Awakened PoE Trade, you're going to go to this one right here. And then what that does is it enables you down in the lower right hand corner where all your tasks are of your window screen. You can start and launch those. And again, I'm going to do a PoE Lurker and an actual from full installing it to how to set it up for your builds and everything else in another video. Just want to give you an idea of this video here as a quick once over. So we're going to get those started, and then we're going to relaunch Path so it's going here. Yeah, when League starts, right? Yep, that's right. So we go back here, we'll get these loaded. Okay, so for the overlays, you won't be able to see them right now unless it's going to function properly. It's always hit or miss with the stream, whether or not the overlays come through. But I'm going to try and see if we can't get them going here and give you an idea what they look like. So I'm just going to blanket whisper someone for a trade. And if you're not using the new Path of Exile / or pathofexile.com/trade, I highly recommend it, as the other trade sites aren't as up to date to the UI as they used to be. So, oh, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. So let me link that so that anyone new who has it and they're not sure what's going on there. So it's going to be the pathofexile.com/trade. Will open up the new UI trade system off of Path of Exile instead of using a new or outside trade site. So we're just going to search real quick for a random trade to do. So let's say a chaos. we're going to try and bulk item trade 1 chaos. And I'm going to do, again, another video at a later date of how to navigate the Path of Exile trade site for items, bulk items, so you get a better understanding instead of just kind of giving you the once over real quickly here. This video, I really kind of am just tailoring it around where to direct you right now. And then in later videos coming up, you're going to see a lot more in depth how to navigate them, how to set them up, that kind of avenue. So I'm going to search, and it has an option for us if you have the thing up. So it says, I want to buy his 101 Chaos Orbs for 1 Exalted. Now I'm going to decline because I'm going to be that guy. But we should, if I move the video here, yeah, the overlay is not going to work right now. So I've got overlays enabled on the stream, but the overlay itself is not showing, unfortunately. And I'll work on that for next time, trying to get it to display correctly. Let me see if we can't just get a layer added here real quick. So okay, so we don't want to show you all that, but what are you going to do? All right, so here we can see the overlay for PoE Trader, or the lurker. There's a home button here that'll take us to our home. So if we were to go back to town, it'll auto take us when we click that. The overlay will. Back to the house. Alright. So let's whisper that guy again. Make him really mad. There's the overlay down at the bottom here. And it gives us some options. And then, so if we were to click that, it annoys the guy again. And we get rid of it. Now, moving on. Back to where we were. Alright, so a couple of the new other ones I want to go now that we're done with the trading is for when you get to the point and you're trying to set up an item for coloring, is the color calculator, also known as Verici's chromatic calculator. That's a good link right there, and it'll enable you to go put in the number of sockets, the strength, dexterity, and intelligence requirements, and the desired colors based off of an item. And you can calculate, therefore, the probability of hitting the item based on which type of benchcraft you do, or if you're using just a chrome. So, a very good, useful tool. The other one we want to touch on today is PoELab.com for all you lab runners and also just leveling runners out there. PoELab.com gives a breakdown of all the labyrinth setups current for that day before after reset. So that's good to check that out before you go into the labyrinth and try and make a run, especially if you're Uber lab farming like a couple people do. Big shout out to Rotlung right there for helping me all the time with Uber lab. I am not a labyrinth runner at all. I hate doing labs. So I always get Rot there to help me out. He's a good guy. So big shout out there. Again, if you're just joining us, we're just doing a quick one over on some helpful and useful links for making your Path of Exile League successful, for getting started. And then we're going to do one of my strategies for making currency league start. So the next link we're going to go and talk about is the PoEprices.info. Now, one of the overlays I talked about earlier has a price finder on it, but I also like to manually check some big ticket items or rare and like random items that not many people are trading on this site too, to get two eyes looking up the prices to really kind of nail in what I'm going to list an item for or what I'm going to pay to buy an item for. It gives you another option, you know. And then lastly, the last site I want to talk about is PoE Ninja. So PoE Ninja will break down statistics of what people are playing via the builds. You can snatch people's builds if they're public profile to be able to play those builds that are successful. It'll show you the current trends for currency, fragments, div cards, etc. And then you can get an idea for what is going to be the next big item for sale. And that kind of transitions us into our next segment, the closeout for this video now. One of my key strategies that I like to use come league start to make my currencies is I like to, instead of rushing to maps, because I'm not that fast a leveler, so I don't get there in the first league day and am already in maps. It's just not me. So, based on that being said, I like to spend my time collecting everything I can after Act 5 on the ground and really farming those smaller currencies that most of the speed rushers and the folks who are rushing the maps are going to look over and that they're going to ignore on their way to maps and making chaos. So that way, when it comes time for them to look back and to see, okay, now I've gotten so much chaos made, now I've got this made, but now I need those smaller currencies to start doing my small trades and my small crafting, then I can be that person that will facilitate the trades for higher than average prices because I have a bulk item of those smaller currencies. So like alteration orbs and stuff like that. And for alteration orbs, big shout out to Thelderon. He's the alteration whore. So he is a big farmer for that with his multiple million tabs in Path of Exile. But yeah, so that's one of my strategies I recommend is if you're a slower leveling player, after Act 5, just start gathering up everything. Take your time leveling, convert it all to currency, and then try and get those bulk basic currencies set up for trading to the rushers, to the people that are in maps by the end of that first day, if not within a couple hours, who are already farming chaos maps. You know, there's people that get into red maps first day one. So they're generally in such a hurry that you can do bulk item trading to them for larger than current average prices on PoE Ninja. Because they don't want to deal with, oh, well, here I am, I've made it to red maps. I have 100 chaos day one. And there's this one guy down here who's selling 50 exalts, or 50 alterations, I'm sorry, for 20, 30, whatever. Whereas this next guy, me, are selling 300 or 400 alts for double the price per that everyone else is selling it. They're probably going to go for that bigger, larger trade. You know what I mean? So now, if anyone has any questions or comments about what they'd like to see in upcoming Path of Exile videos, please take the time now to drop them in the chat. For everybody that's just started watching, we just did a brief pre-launch, pre-league video with some useful links of what you can use to make your league successful and a strategy for making currency come league start that's been worked by me multiple leagues. So last time I played was 2 leagues ago, and I had a headhunter by day 2 using that strat. So I recommend it to anyone watching. It really does work if you have the patience to sit in your hideout after you've gathered everything for a couple hours and do some trading. So, but if we have no questions, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to hang around for a minute, let everybody chat, and see if there's any questions. And I'm going to go ahead and end the video portion of this, and that way we'll keep it clear for everybody to chat and talk about any other points they'd like to see coming up. Thanks so much for watching Chico Swavey with a pre-launch Path of Exile League video.